Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
But who is he?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
And who is he?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
And what he do?
And it's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm a board-certified criminal defense lawyer giving honest commentary about the legality and illegality of what we see in some of these videos. For starters, I'd like to thank Jaylap from CRAM for our awesome intro, and want to thank all of our subscribers, all of our Instagram, and watch for us on Twitter. And we are also pumping it up on Patreon. So today we are going to do a reaction to FBG Duck's slide. So let's see what we can get into.
I don't know what I'm talking about. Hey, you know, lately, fuck all this shit. Now, we've been on a whole lot of gang shit, you know, Neverland shit. That's how I'm coming, yeah. Gang since potty train, all that shit.
Gang since potty train. In other words, they were born a gang member, and they're going to die a gang member. And in Chicago, and a lot like other places, there's no choice. You either are in the gang or you're not. And if you're not, you're an op.
Oh, this how you coming too? Nah, for real.
Lil Rico got the sauce.
This a real nigga pop?
Okay, this is a real fella party, as he says. Not using that word, but and you can see he's got a firearm with a big drum magazine.
You cannot get in, busting out the men.
And this is another video where we're going to probably look and see who is eligible and who is not eligible to possess a firearm.
I can shake your hand.
And look at there. Okay, so now we have a little yellow pill that he's holding up. The yellow pill is probably ecstasy. And where there's one little yellow pill, there's probably a lot of them. And where there's a lot of them and a lot of firearms, guess what? Now we have a 7-year to 10-year mandatory minimum, depending upon how these firearms and drugs are used and distributed.
No, I'm not your friend. I don't fuck with rappers. No, I'm not bad. Damn, niggas really shoot no accident. I can't make.
Okay, now as we're watching this video, I see them pointing the firearms at the cameraman. I wouldn't give you 2 plug nickels to be that cameraman.
I cannot pretend. Damn, and I heard you know who shot your man. You ain't trying to slash, don't be acting like you is. Cause if you gon' slash, pussy nigga.
See, there we got 1, 2, 3, 4 firearms pointed at the cameraman. Now, somebody in one of the comments has made a comment that these are prop guns. Bullshit. There's no way these are prop guns, number one. And I've had a case, actually, where the client was a photographer. And the guy was, she wanted to take a picture of the guy with his dog and his gun, pointing it at the camera. And in that particular case, he was a police cadet. And he took the gun just like that, and he fired it into the camera, went through the camera, into the eye of the person taking the picture, and killed her. Total an accident. But that was what we call manslaughter in the 2nd degree. So he did wound up doing 4 years, and it was a complete accident. And manslaughter is where you have culpable negligence. In other words, you're doing something so dangerous that you should know that it would cause death. And notice there isn't a single person that is unarmed. Let me shoot up that crib you're hiding in. In other words, it's kind of self-snitching, but it's so vague, you know. Hopefully it's art. Sneak up on you with that pew pew pew. I really don't want these guys on the opposite side of me.
Ride with that, wish a nigga would. This right here, turn a nigga name into a hood.
And so did you hear that last line? This shit will turn a fella's name into a hood. In other words, sometimes what they do is when somebody dies, they'll name their neighborhood after them in their honor, like Tukaville.
Look, Ben tried to fuck your bitch up past due. Remember you was dissing in the classroom. Now you're trying to tie me in a bathroom.
So basically he's saying when you were dissing me back in high school, in other words, he must not have been so popular in high school, but now you're trying to top me in the bathroom. In other words, performing oral pleasure in the bathroom. Yeah. And it basically, now that I've made it, I'm getting top. The firepower that we're seeing in this video is like an army. I mean, they are ready to rock.
Out the phone them out the I can shake your hand. No, I'm not your friend. I don't fuck with rappers. No, I'm not a fan. Damn, niggas really.
So he says, no, I'm not a fan. I don't fuck with rappers. Basically, he's saying he'd rob him just the first time he sees him. And his loyalty is to the gang and it's to the street life. And for a lot of these guys, that's it. This is what it is. It's a loyal to a lifestyle.
I can't make this shit up. I cannot pretend. Damn. And I heard you know who shot your man. You ain't trying to slash, don't be acting like you is.
So there he says, I know you know who shot your mans. So don't, and basically he's saying that you are not going to do anything about it, so don't talk like you're all that. So in other words, you know what? I use that in other words all the time. So he's basically saying that, unless you do something about it, you're not shit. Busting out them mids, phone them off them Xans. He's talking about Xanax, which is alprazolam, which is a benzodiazepine and also called bars. And that's a very popular drug and sold and pressed, and people eat it. They eat it a lot.
Same place we catch, same place we leave. Pussy ass niggas not allowed in the zoo. Fuck wrong with you? Who you talking to? Pussy ass niggas.
See, when somebody says, who the fuck are you? Who you talking to? And they're holding a gun, you're in a position of weakness if you're not holding a gun. Motherfuckers acting like they're bulletproof until they get their top drop like a coupe. That is what they call imagery. And what he means by top dropped is when you get your fucking head blown off.
In the jail, fuck around, swill. Time about I am. Now I ain't think you will. Bitch, that type of shit and get your stupid ass killed. Big real nigga.
It's so violent. This is just incredible to watch this. This is the first time that I've seen this particular video. And if you put different words in it, it seems, like there's a good rhythm and all that stuff. But it's just so gangsta.
I can shake your hand. No, I'm not your friend. I don't fuck with rappers. No, I'm not a fan. Damn, niggas really shoot no accident. I can't.
And so he just says, a fella's shooting on an accident. In other words, kind of like what I was saying earlier about the police cadet shooting into the photographer's lens and killing her. I mean, when you have these guns around like this, and everybody's doing bars, or they're doing ecstasy, or they're drinking, or whatever, they're bound to be accidents. In fact, do you remember the movie Pulp Fiction, where they're riding around and all of a sudden they bloody up the back of the car by accident? That happens way more than you think. Let me shoot that crib you're hiding in. And you look at this extended magazine, that's also called a ruler. Holds a lot of bullets, and they can keep firing for a long time. And sometimes they actually can tape two of them together. So and then you flip, once you're out, then you flip it around the other side. Now keep in mind, I am not an expert in firearms. I know a little bit about it, and sometimes I might get something wrong, but if I do, call me out on it. But you don't want to see somebody with those coming up on you. This has been FBG Duck Slide. Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Want to thank all of our subscribers. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And let's get that Patreon number up there and get some people out of jail. RIP, FBG Duck.